प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री रूप रघुनाथ पदे अरगाश चैतन्य चरितामृत कहे कृष्ण दास। वंदे गुरुनीश भक्तानीशानीश अवतारकान् तत्प्रकाशां तत्शक्ति कृष्ण चैतन्य संज्ञकम् ग्रंथिरारंभ कोरि मंगलाचरण गुरु कृष्ण वैष्णव तीन स्मरण हय विघ्न विनाशन अनायास सफल निज वांछित पूर्ण। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading today Caitanya Caritamrita. It's June 20th, 2024. So, in the last few verses in chapter 7 of Adi Lila, we were talking about how the Mayavadi sannyasis were also convinced by the direct explanation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, explanation of Vedanta Sutra. So, and they kind of unanimously and together agreed that we accepted the Shankaracharya, but it did not satisfy us. But now your Mukhya Artha, how you have described, is very, very clear. And then they said, oh, we want to hear more. The direct meaning, the Mukhya Artha. And then Mahaprabhu begins to describe that how Brahman is greater than the greatest. Brahman, who is greater than the greatest, is the Supreme Lord, and he's full in six opulences. So we covered that also. That's the ultimate truth. The Brahman realization, the Paramatma realization, and the Bhagavan realization. We also discussed this verse. Sakala Vedera Haya Bhagavan Sei Sambandha. All the scriptures are talking about how to establish our connection with this Supreme Lord. Sure. This verse, does anyone recall? We read text 140. Probably not, because it is a big purport. So maybe we paused here. So let's read
Yes,
from.
Prabhuji, the recording which Shurada Mataji shared, it's until 139.
Okay, good, perfect. So we're at a great point. Okay. पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हरे कृष्ण। तारा निर्विशेषा को ही चित् शक्तिं नामानि अर्धस्वरूप नामानि ले पूर्णता होय हानि। Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When we speak of the Supreme as impersonal, we deny His spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half of the truth, you cannot understand the whole. Purport. In the Upanishads, it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vishishyate. This verse, which is mentioned in the Ishopanishad, Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad, and many other Upanishad, indicate that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in six opulences. His position is unique, for he possesses all riches, strength, influence, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Brahman means the greatest, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is greater than the greatest, just as the sun globe is greater than the sunshine. which is all pervading in the universe. Although the sunshine that spreads all over the universe appears very great to the less knowledgeable, greater than the sunshine is the sun itself, and greater than the sun is the sun God. So beautiful. So the impersonal, the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the uh, Bhagavan. Similarly, the impersonal Brahman is not the greatest, although it appears to be so. The impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the transcendental form of the Lord is greater than both the impersonal and the localized Paramatma. Very important verse, very, very important purpose. So the personal form of the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma. Therefore, whenever the word Brahman is used in the Vedic literature, it is understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is addressed as Parabrahman. Mayavadis and others sometimes misunderstand Brahman because every living entity is also Brahman. Therefore, Krishna is referred to as Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman. In the Vedic literature, whenever the words Brahman or Parabrahman are used, they are to be understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is their real meaning. Since the entire Vedic literature deals with the subject of Brahman, Krishna is therefore the ultimate goal of the Vedic understanding. The impersonal Brahma Jyoti rests on the personal form of the Lord. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti rests on the personal form of the Lord. Therefore, although the impersonal effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti, is the first realization, one must enter into it as mentioned in the Ishopanishad. To find the Supreme Person, and then one's knowledge is perfect. The Bhagavad Gita 7:19 also confirms this. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. One's search for the absolute truth by dint of speculative knowledge is complete when he comes to the point of understanding Krishna. Krishna Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality, and surrenders unto him. That is the real point of perfectional knowledge. Not just understanding, but taking shelter. Man mana bhav, man bhakto. So it's a longer purport. Maybe someone can read this paragraph if anyone would like.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if I can.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam, devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Partial realization of the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman denies the complete opulences of the Lord. This is hazardous understanding of the absolute truth. Unless one accepts all the features of the absolute truth, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's knowledge is imperfect. Srila Ramanujacharya in the Vedartha Sangraha says, Gnanina dharmena swarupam api nirupitam natu gnana matram brahmeti katam idam avagamyate. He thus indicates that the real identity of the absolute truth must be understood in terms of both his knowledge and his characteristics. Simply to understand the absolute truth to the full of knowledge is not sufficient. In the Vedic literature, Mukunda Upanishad 1.1.9, we find the statement Yah Sarva Gnah Sarvavit, which means that the absolute truth knows everything perfectly, but we also learn from the Vedic description Parasya Shaktir vividhaiva sh- shruyate, that not only does he know everything, but he also acts accordingly by utilizing his different energies. Thus, to understand that Brahman, the Supreme, is conscious is not sufficient. One must know how he consciously acts through his different energies. Mayavada philosophy simply informs us of the consciousness of the absolute truth, but does not give us information of how he acts with his consciousness. This is the defect of that philosophy. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, whenever this topic comes, Srila Prabhupada explains in always in great detail because it is so important. The understanding of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. We have discussed this multiple times, but since this is coming again, we will take the opportunity again to talk about it. Um, and we also saw this example. The so when I made this chart, I missed one very important thing. So first I wrote only like the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. I missed the word realization here. And one devotee corrected me, which I happily accepted his correction. So the word realization is important. Why? Because the word Brahman also, it's mentioned in the Bhagavata, Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattva. Brahmeti Paramatmiti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. So ultimately, they are all complete. But if we only have partial realization or understanding, then it becomes incomplete. Like if someone says, oh, sun rays is everything. Sun rays is the effulgence. The impersonal feature or realization is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality. So the example here, the sun rays are the effulgence from the sun globe, which refers to sun planet or the sun god here. Hmm. So that's a much deeper understanding. Hmm. If we elaborate it further, I think we were talking about how um, like we can relate you know let's say maybe Sushilpa Mataji's example. If I like one understanding, very lower understanding would be calling, let's say, living entity, right? Oh, living entity, can you please sit down? That's not incorrect, right? But it is who would like to be called or addressed as that, right? It's not a very personal way to call someone, right? A little bit more understanding could be, oh, female, right? Oh, it's because she has the body of the female, right? So, but that's also not very personal. Like, personal would be how she would like to be called as, or maybe like mother of Joshua, right? Is that's more personal, right? Or maybe, you know, your daughter of so and so and mother of so and so, wife of so and so, or by your direct name, right? So Krishna also likes to be addressed more by the names connected to his name, form, qualities, nama, rupa, guna, like Gopinath, Madan Mohan, Nand Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Radha Madhava, like that. Not just, oh, he is omniscient, oh, he is omnipotent. Okay, who are we talking about? Therefore, when Srila Prabhupada started this society, he didn't name this society International Society for Brahman Consciousness. He could have, because Brahman ultimately, Krishna is Parabrahman, or International Society for God Consciousness, International Society for Supreme Consciousness, because there's a lot of hodgepodge on those ideas, even today in India and both in the West also. Therefore, Prabhupada named like specific, right? The Sarva Akarshati iti Krishna, the one who attracts everyone, that Supreme Lord we are referring to. We're not referring to any Tom, Dick, Harry. We are not referring to any millions of demigods, demigoddesses, because something that's someone may think he is supreme, someone is saying she is supreme. Who is supreme? Krishna consciousness, right? Another way to kind of look at this example, one time there were some people in the village and they never seen a train. They had never seen a train. So different people went to the city or the nearby station what they had where the train was coming. And so different groups went and then they were supposed to report to the others or communicate how a train is like. Okay. So one group saw from a very distance. So when the train is at a distance, what do we see or hear first?
Sound.
Sound? Yeah. And in the old days, there was like steam engine, perhaps. So they heard sound. So they heard from a great distance some smoke coming, and maybe some light, some and sound. So they went, oh, we know how the train is. We know how the train is, right? And they went back and they said, oh, it's an object which emits sound and emits some smoke. Is it correct? It's correct, but it's very elementary understanding. It's not complete in itself. That understanding, that the train does not change. The train is as is, but from a distance to a less knowledgeable person, it may appear to be an object which produces some sound and some smoke. Okay, they came back. One group was a little bit more patient. As Prabhupada said, when we go deeper, when we enter into the Brahma, like, okay, I want to know more, right? It's just that object. Hmm? So one group, they waited. Okay. Oh, it was farther. Now it's coming closer. That means it's moving, right? It's moving. I can hear the sound more clear. I can see the smoke more. I can see some lights also. And I can see it's made up of metal, looks like. And it's running at high speed. Hmm? And they observed from little bit closer. Oh, and they had more clarity. Oh, it's a moving object. It runs at high speed. It's primarily made up of metals and it has some wheels and it is moving on the two tracks, right? Right. So they had a little bit better understand. And then they said, okay, now we know what's train. So is that correct? That's correct. Is that better than the previous understanding or realization? That's also true. But is it complete? That's also not fully complete. So the third group, they fully waited, right? Deeper, right? And then when the train came to a halt, oh, we thought it was just maybe a tiny, maybe a 6 by 6 object, but no, it's not a 6 by 6 object, like 6 feet by 6 feet, like it's it has like so many bogies. It's like almost half a mile. It's so long. I never thought, right? I thought it's just some spark. Right? That's what the yogis, oh, it's just some dot, just some spark, just some like, Krishna is so huge. Krishna, everything is connected. So they saw, oh, it runs on wheels, it has different bogies, it has a pantry car for the food, it has some with AC, some non-AC, all the details. It has different seating capacity, different sleeping arrangements, all that the last group who was patient, who was determined, who and that group had the complete understanding. Hmm. That's what basically um, the three layers we can see: Brahman, Paramatma, and the Bhagavan. Nothing is incorrect, but we focus on the Bhagavan realization, which is complete and can be known through the process of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, and that's what we follow. We don't follow speculative knowledge. We don't follow, okay, I will figure it out. Sankhya, Jnana, Dhyana. We follow the descending process of Bhakti Yoga. And this is what Mahaprabhu is explaining. Hmm. If we only accept half of the truth, we cannot understand the whole. Like think in the train example, right? Fits so well, or any example for that matter. We discuss so many examples. So we should not just take half truth because we'll come to wrong conclusions, right? Any comments, thoughts here in this particular verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Prabhu, one question. The last statement in the purport that I read, uh, it is said like Mayavadis, they believe only half of it, which is the person, but they don't believe in the energies of the Lord, right? That's what it said. But usually, um, the Vedanta Sutra or people who follow Vedanta, they say Aham Brahmasmi, right? Like God is within me. Um, and then all the nature around, they believe in the nature around, which is again energies of Krishna, of the Lord, right? I'm just trying to understand it. It kind of, to my thought, it is kind of exactly opposite to what Prabhupada is saying here in the last statement. Maybe I'm definitely wrong, but in which way is it wrong is what I'm trying to understand.
You're talking about the Aham Brahmasmi statement by the
Wait,
Mayavadis. Yes. So see that statement again. That's what we call is misinterpretation, right? The word Brahman comes, as Prabhupada mentioned in this verse, the Brahman comes multiple times in the Bhagavad Gita. Hmm? And the word Parabrahman also comes. But we have to see the context. Sometimes it may refer to the Jiva, as mentioned in this verse, but sometimes it may refer to the Supreme Lord. Hmm? Now, someone with less intelligence, without proper Guru Sadhu Shastra, without proper Parampara, may twist meaning to fit their agendas. That's what Mayavadis do, right? And lead to hazardous understanding of the absolute truth. That's what was also Prabhupada's mention. It's dangerous. One will be in chaos for themselves and for others. And that's what even the Aham Brahmasmi or Soham or Tattvamasi, more or less all the same, right? We have discussed that, right? So, and that's what they say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that. I am that. Soham, Tattvamasi, you are that. Basically trying to be with one with God. Hmm? Advaita, right? There are no two. I, God, are same or will be same tomorrow. Maybe not today. Today I'm under illusion, but once my illusion is gone, I'll be that. Tattvamasi. Dandadharina. Once I become a sannyasi, then I'll become same as Narayan. Impersonal understanding, Mayavadi understanding. Hmm? Or I'll merge with the supreme light, impersonal feature of the Lord. But when devotees talk about, okay, Aham Brahmasmi, that we have that same, yes, we are also spirit soul. Yes, God is there. Yes, He's seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya Chamriti Sannivishto. Yes, He's there. But the Jiva and the two birds sitting on the same tree are eternally there. They never uh, become one. Even the green parrot goes to the green tree in the green leaves, still the parrot remains parrot. It's not that everything is green. Prabhupada gives this example also. all green is one. No, the parrot remains parrot. The tree, the green tree remains the green tree. So does that help or clarify?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, I think the context is what we need to consider and the way that they are referring to. You're right, Prabhuji. It depends on the context also. Got it, Prabhuji.
Yes. Prati shloke prati akshare nana arthe kahe. Right? Context matters a lot. Even in simple English words, right? Like his Grace Lal Govind Prabhu gives this example. Like is in Hindi, let's say, or maybe we can, I'm sure you can relate in other languages also. Let's say someone like is serving you uh, food, right? Maybe they made yogurt rice, right? And you like yogurt rice or something, and someone, the server is 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 serving you food, hmm? And they put one spoon or serving spoon ladle, and you say bus, bus. What does that mean?
Enough. Okay, different meanings.
Yeah,
Okay.
bus. Yeah, I'm done. I'm good. Thank you. Anyway, you can move on, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Same situation. Everything is same. The person who is honoring says, "Bus," right?
Question. Okay.
Right? Right? Same word, right? But
Yes.
how even like even here the context is the same. Like you pretty much, right?
Yeah.
The server is serving, the one devotee is honoring, the food is the same, the ladle is the same, everything is the same. But it has totally different meaning. But that much? Give me more. Give me like I'm really hungry. Give me 2, 3 spoons maybe. But
Mm.
only this much. So yes, time, place, circumstances, how the word is used, where it is used. Now, therefore, we um, we refer to the acharyas, Srila Prabhupada's translations and purports, so that we can understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, scriptures as it is. Otherwise, a fool like me, how can we understand scriptures? We don't know Sanskrit. We don't know. I don't have tinge of devotion. I don't have tinge of knowledge. I don't have tinge of, spiritual understanding. The previous acharyas, Vedanta Sutra, this, that, so many. It's eternal knowledge. But the acharyas like distill everything and help us, the common souls. Like we cannot imagine what Prabhupada has done. A common jiva speaking, English, Hindi, etc., Telugu. Imagine if Prabhupada would have not done this. How would the Shastra reach to the common people? Almost impossible. Mm. But now we are easily able to access it, read it, and even understand and follow it. Right? That's what Prabhupada mentioned here. Understand and follow and become his devotee, basically, right? Surrender, understand Krishna and surrender unto him. That is perfection knowledge. Real point of perfection knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's read the next verse, 141. Someone like to read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam, I can read. Text 141. ভগবান প্রাপ্তি হেতু যে করি উপায় শ্রবণাদি ভক্তি কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তিরও সহায়. Translation. Can you scroll down? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. It is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only means to approach Him. Mayavadi philosophers are satisfied simply to understand Brahman to be the sum total of knowledge, but Vaishnava philosophers not only know in details about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also know how to approach Him directly. The method for this is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as 9 kinds of devotional service, beginning with hearing. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Swaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. The 9 kinds of devotional service are hearing about Krishna, chanting about him, remembering him, offering service to his lotus feet, offering him worship in the temple, offering prayers to him, working as his servant, making friendship with him, and unreservedly surrendering to him. One can directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by executing these 9 kinds of devotional service, of which hearing about the Lord is the most important, Sravanadi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very favorably stressed the importance of this process of hearing. According to his method, if people are simply given a chance to hear about Krishna, certainly they will gradually develop their dormant awareness or love of God. Shravanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Udaya. Chaitanya Caritamrita Madhya Lila 22.107. Love of God is dormant in everyone, and if one is given a chance to hear about the Lord, certainly that love develops. Our Krishna consciousness movement act on this principle. Give we simply give people the chance to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, give the prasadam give them prasadam to eat, and the actual result is that all over the world people are responding to this process and becoming pure devotees of Lord Krishna. We have opened hundreds of centers all over the world just to give people in general a chance to hear about Krishna and accept Krishna's prasadam. These 2 processes can be accepted by anyone, even a child. It does not matter whether one is poor or rich, learned or foolish, black or white, old or still a child. Anyone who simply hears about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and takes prasadam is certainly elevated to the transcendental position of devotional service. Very beautiful purport has Mahaprabhu already showed the path of and instructed the people that to hear about Krishna. And this is the first part of the 9 limbs of devotional service. And that's why Srila Prabhupada in the purport emphasizing that Shravanam is very, very important. And for Shravanam, hearing of Krishna, Lord Krishna, hearing the glories of Lord Krishna, there is no qualification needed. Anyone can do this hearing. They can hear about Krishna. So no qualification is required for that one. And that at the same time is very important for bhakti. And also he emphasized on the honoring prasadam, hearing and honor prasadam. That way, even a very insignificant person who never get a chance to hear about Krishna Katha, like in Western countries or all over the world, other than India, they can also be able to get that nectar by hearing the Krishna Katha. And as Prabhupada spread his mission all over the world. So back to Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this beautiful verse. We all want this, is it not? What do we want in life? What is our purpose? Anyone?
To attain
Prem.
Hari
To
Bol.
wait the prema for in our heart.
Yes, to develop Krishna prema Very nice. Or Krishna Prapti, right? So this verse actually tells how can we attain Krishna? How can um, how can we approach Krishna? Right? How can we approach Krishna? Or how can we obtain the mercy of Krishna? Any thoughts? This word, think of the word Krishna Prapti. You heard it somewhere? What? This word, Krishna Prapti? Anywhere?
Yes.
Yes. Where?
Where? Yeah.
Morning prayers, Prabhuji, Guru Vandana.
Guru Vandana?
No.
Yes. Yeah, please tell. Where does it come? I mean, where specifically? Krishna Prapti Hoi Jaha Hoi Te. Right? That's the first
Guru.
stanza. Hmm? Shri Guru Charana Padma, I offer my pranams to the lotus feet of thee, at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. This, hmm. This is the prayer, the Guru Vandana, Prabhupada Vandana, Guru Puja, right? Which is sung in all the temples after the Darshanarti. The lotus feet of this our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to the lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Jahar prasade pai. And attain the mercy of Guru. E bhavaturya. इस भव से पार. इस भव से पार होके कहाँ गया? Krishna prapti. And that's what we read here. Krishna prapti. We need to obtain now Mahaprabhu himself or Bhagavan Prapti, Krishna Prapti. The word is used twice here, same meaning. We all want to attain Krishna. So Krishna Prapti Hetu. This is our Hetu. Ahetuki. Ahetuki means no material motive. Ahetuki apratihata. Right? What is the Hetu? What is the objective? What is your intention? Our intention is Bhagavan Prapti. Our hetu is not name, fame, prapti, dhananna, jananna, sundarim. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not say my hetu is by doing bhakti to get more money, more name, more fame, more followers. No. Our hetu is unalloyed Krishna prem, Bhagavan prap. अगर कोई उपाय है, उपाय means solution. भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु यरि करी उपाय. भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु ये करी उपाय. ये उपाय कर लो भाई. क्या उपाय करो? Because in the previous verse he said Bhagavan is the topmost. अब उनको प्राप्त कैसे करना है? These are in word jugglery. This, that, that's what's in their mind. But Mahaprabhu is saying no. Bhakti, Shravan Adi Bhakti. Very, very important verse. All of us can try to memorize this. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. In short, Bhakti or devotional service is only going to be Sahai to obtain Krishna, Krishna Prapti, Gyan, speculation, uh, um, other things are not going to be Sahai. We have to see what is going to be helpful, what means, what is going to help us to approach Krishna. And what is that? Shravanadi Shuddha. What is that verse? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Kori Udai. So by hearing Shravanam, anywhere the word Shravanam comes, Prabhupada kind of goes into ecstasy and always gives detail about the glories of Shravanam. And it is so important. What is most important? One can directly approach Krishna, the Supreme Lord, by executing 9 devotional services, of which hearing is most important. It's the first one. And then often these are said as Shravanam Adi, like hearing, etc. Adi means etc. So let's try to memorize this verse of those who like me just by repeatedly by repeating and trying to Bhagavan prapti hetu ye kare upay Shravanadi bhakti Krishna praptira sahay. Right? If you try to break down, and then it becomes easy. Bhagavan prapti, Krishna prapti comes twice, right? And this is the upay. Ye kari upay, ye upay kar lo. What upay? Shravanadi bhakti. Right? So let's try to recite 1 or 2 times with seeing and then without seeing. Anyone? Try to recite by seeing first.
I can see. First I'm seeing Prabhuji.
हाँ.
भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु जे कोरी उपाय श्रवणादि भक्ति कृष्ण प्राप्तिरो सहाय.
Very nice. Anyone else feeling inspired to recite?
I can try probably.
Yes, mother.
भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु जे कोरी उपाय श्रवणादि
I don't know if my signal broke. Thank you, Mataji. Now, tough part. Anyone? Bhagavan praptira hetu ye kari upay. Shravanadi bhakti na prasaha. Bhagavati het kari upay. Shravanadi tira krishna tira. With expression and with thinking on the meaning, it gets easier. Anyone wants to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll try.
Yes, ma'am.
ভগবান প্রাপ্তি হেতু যে করি উপায় শ্রবণাদি ভক্তি কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তিরও সহায়.
Wonderful.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Ah, you're like Shrutidhar, right? Just saying once, twice.
Bengali is Prabhuji is easy. Because
Still,
mother tongue, that's right.
still it's, I mean, it takes, I mean, in that way you can memorize the whole Caitanya Caritamrita, right? That'll be great. Okay. Ruby Mataji, you want to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. भगवान प्राप्ति हेतु एकरी उपाय श्रवणादि भक्ति कृष्ण प्राप्ति सहाय.
Any ball. We have like a series of Shrutidhars.
Prabhuji, it's
Prabhuji, I can
Bengali.
try.
So little similar to Odia. So
Very well. These words are simple. Simple to understand. Bhakti is simple. Words are simple. Verses are simple. Anyone else feeling inspired?
Prabhuji, I can try.
Yes, Mataji.
ভগবান প্রাপ্তি যে করি উপায় শ্রবণাদি ভক্তি সহায় something সহায়.
Krishna Praptira Sahai.
কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তির সহায়.
Yes, thank you for trying. Okay, let's move on. We'll read one more verse. I think we have time to read this and then we'll pause. 142. Anyone feeling inspired to read?
I can read Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
এই সর্ববেদের অভিধেয় নাম সাধন ভক্তি হইতে হয় প্রেমের উদ্গম. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By practicing this regulated devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, certainly one awakens his dormant love of Godhead. This process is called abhidheya. Purport. By the practice of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, the impure heart of a conditioned soul is purified, and thus he can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That eternal relationship is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, জীবের স্বরূপ হয়ে কৃষ্ণের নিত্য দাস. The living entity is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is convinced about this relationship, which is called Sambandha, he then acts accordingly. That is called Abhidheya. The next step is Prayojan Siddhi, or fulfillment of the ultimate goal of one's life. If one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act accordingly, automatically his mission in life is fulfilled. The Mayavadi philosophers miss even the first stage in self-realization because they have no conception of God's being personal. He is the master of all and he is the only person who can accept the service of all living entities. But since this knowledge is lacking in Mayavad philosophy, Mayavadis do not have knowledge even of their relationship with God. They wrongly think that everyone is God or that everyone is equal to God. Therefore, since the real position of the living entity is not clear to them, how can they advance further? Although they are very much puffed up at being liberated, Mayavadi philosophers very shortly fall down again to the material activities due to their neglecting the lotus feet of the Lord. That is called patanti adha. Ye anye ravindaksha vimukta manina sway asta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya आरुह्य कृच्छ्रेण परमं पदं ततः पतन्ति अधो अनादृता युष्मद् anghayah. Here it is said that that person who think themselves liberated but do not execute devotional service, not knowing their relationship with the Lord, are certainly misled. One must know his relationship with the Lord and act accordingly, then the fulfillment of his life's mission will be possible. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, if we notice, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke about Sambandha earlier, right? The word Sambandha came before. Yeah, here. So it talks about Sambandha. And what is that Sambandha? That we are eternal spiritual. We are Krishna's energy. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But we are not the master. We are not the bhokta. We are, our position is to serve him. Nitya Das. Jivara Swarup Hoy. Krishnera Nitya Das. Krishnera Tathastha Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. Now, when one knows the Sambandha, okay, then what? Then one must take to the process of sadhana bhakti. That is the abhideya. Say sarva vedera abhideya nam. So first, basically all the, like, one may say, well, why is Lord Chaitanya, first he said that all the Vedas talk about Sambandha, right? Sakala vedera hoy Bhagavan say Sambandha. But now he's saying, say sarva vedera abhideya nama. The essence of all the Vedic literature is abhideya or devotional service. So in short, the scripture, the essence of scriptures is the three things. And a prayojan will come later. Sambandha, abhideya, prayojan. Right? First, to understand who am I? Who is God? What's my connection? Okay, now I know. But how do I develop that connection? My connection is to eternal servant. Right now I am Maya Das. I want to become Krishna Das. I want to do Krishna Prapti. So what is the process? Shravanadi Bhakti Krishna Prapti Rasahai. That Shravanadi Bhakti basically is called Sadhana Bhakti. Regulated devotional process. Say Sarva Vedera Abhideya Nam Sadhana Bhakti Hoya Premera Udgama. Udgam ho jayega. Awaken. Uth jayega. Right now it's dormant, sleeping from millions of lifetimes. And this is basically Abhideya. So what is sadhana bhakti? My mother's spiritual master gave her the name Sadhana Bhakti Devidas. Right? It's a very beautiful name. And what is sadhana bhakti? Sadhana bhakti means to practice regulated devotional service under the guidance of the Guru. And when one does that, Krishna Prema will naturally awaken. And what does sadhana bhakti mean? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc., etc. Primarily hearing, chanting, deity worship, honoring prasad, serving Vaishnavas, Vaishnav culture, Vaishnav conduct, celebrating festivals like we had the Chiradahi yesterday, and all the things like those, right? That's all part of sadhana bhakti, right? Following Ekadashi, etc., etc. That's basically all part of Abhideya. And when one does that, one will naturally develop prayojan. Prayojan Siddhi, fulfillment of ultimate goal of life. And that's basically Krishna Prapti. That's basically Krishna Prema. That will naturally come. But we have to go through the process. One cannot say, like even to get a college degree, what is the prayojan of a college? Why one goes to college? To get a college degree, right? Or to get a job, maybe, right? But they can't say, hey, I took admission yesterday. When will I get the job? When will I get the degree? No, one has to go through the process. There is regulated process. There are sub-syllabus. There are credits. There are exams. There are projects. One has to grind. Even uh, even to get a material thing, one has to grind. What to speak of pure Krishna Prema, and that is sadhana bhakti. Any thoughts, comments before we stop? Okay, I guess we'll pause here. So, thank you everyone for joining. Shri Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam Purana ki Jai, Jagat Guru Shri
అంటే
Prabhupada
మనకి టెక్నికల్ లో మనం
ki Jai, Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.